Hi there, welcome to Island Fly. Oops, nope. I have another channel called Island Fly Tarot, but this is Tarotland Soap Opera, and today I'm going to do a reading for Aquarius energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Aquarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy, because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And the top row could represent how some people are living their life, and the bottom row can just represent some of the fears or insecurities that they're working through, or other kind of shadowy people in their life. Some other people could want to live their life a little different and do some of the things represented in the top row, but they're still struggling in the bottom row, which can just represent their comfort zone. And, you know, if you're going to live your life a little differently, you might have to heal or grow or mature yourself, or stop certain habits or patterns, or hanging out with certain people. And other people, the top and bottom row can just represent different people in the world and different people in our life. We have free will to align with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature. We have free will to align with our more shadowy nature, which can be fear, insecurity, pride, ego, lust, greed, laziness, self-indulgence, think it should be all our way. And then there's other people in the world who are like that. And we have the free will, what we're going to align with within ourselves, and which people in the world we're going to align with, and keep kind of investing time, energy, and effort into. So it might be something that people in Aquarius energy are dealing with right now, more so than other people to some degree, or people who have significant Aquarius placements in their chart. But then again, it can affect all of us because we all do tap into Aquarius energy. Just like all the other zodiac signs, the water signs, the earthly signs, the air signs, the pentacle signs, we all tap into those, and we either tap into them in a more high vibe, worldly, or shadowy way. And, you know, if you harness high vibe Aquarius energy, you do keep things in perspective. You do look at life from a higher perspective instead of just getting really focused in the now and maybe getting caught up in your head. And, you know, you're able to, and probably have looked at your life and put it in perspective to kind of deal with some of the issues from your past that, if you hadn't put those things in perspective and coming to a place of peace about it, some of those things would still manipulate you. Because our shadow nature can just represent things that manipulate us, maybe that we are aware of or we're not aware of. Anyway, so, that's kind of interesting. The reason for the top rose reading is the Seven of Cups. The reason for the bottom rose reading is the Eight of Cups. The Seven of Cups is Scorpio, emotional water sign energy, and the other one is Pisces. So some people who already worked through some issues are, and some currently are doing it, see through some type of an illusion. That's what the Seven of Cups can be. The Eight of Cups is walking away from the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups can be that we found something emotionally confusing. People created the illusion they were willing to have some type of new beginning with us, or a more deep, meaningful relationship. Or they kind of have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, and they got some growing up to do. And some of the people in this situation, they already worked kind of through their fears and insecurities about staying or going. And some people worked through it and offered themselves a cup of love to become independent of something that was kind of shadowy. And some other people might still be trying to work through it, right? So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the Queen of Cups, which, like the Seven of Cups, I view as Scorpio energy. The Two of Swords, the Hangman, which is also Pisces energy. And then we have a card not, oh, well, this is Pisces. And then a card not showing itself is the Ace of Pentacles. So in High Vibe, the Ace of Pentacles talks about kind of seeing the truth, because the truth sets us free to live our life differently. But we have to be willing to learn the lesson. It's kind of like going through these stages of life, and we have these different lessons in life to learn. Tempering our ego, tempering our fear, learning to love ourselves, getting more balance within ourselves, believing in our dreams, whatever. And sometimes we're in relationships with people and they can not want to see the truth. And for some, in High Vibe, the pentacle being the truth is that it's supposed to be about love. And love is supposed to be just and fair. Up in the top row, we have the King of Swords, Libra energy. Some people have learned that lesson, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are. Love is supposed to be just and fair, and you're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And some people, that's not their truth. Some people don't want to invest in that truth. Some people don't want to see the truth of it. And some of those people want to keep moving forward, indulging themselves in relationships. That would be the shadowy Nine of Cups. They just want to keep doing things the way they've been doing it. They don't want to see the truth and move forward in life a little differently. They want to just keep moving forward the way they've been moving forward with. They find it, either they're sure it will make them happy, or it's kind of more about them and more about indulging themselves. So, with us starting out with what I view as two Scorpio cards, one person, a more high vibrational person, is ready to have a new beginning. Someone else might not be ready to have a new beginning or be more independent, because high vibe energy is also about being independent of your ego nature more so, or the past. And some other people are still kind of more emotionally invested in the past. And the Queen of Cups can be that someone's like, I want to keep doing this. I might want to be in a relationship. I might want to get in a new relationship or stay in the one I'm in or the job that I'm in. But I want to keep doing this, whatever that was. That's how they want to keep moving forward. The Two of Swords in shadow can mean, which is Libra energy, I don't want to see the truth. I want to stay in denial of the truth. And the Hangman can be, this is how I view life. They might feel stuck, but because that's what the Hangman can talk about. I don't care. I refuse to look at life any differently from any other perspective. We can live our life whatever way we want. We can hang out with certain people, view certain life a certain way. We can do that. We have the free will to live our life any way we want. And some people like staying in denial of the truth that maybe they would benefit from maybe being more independent or get out of being caught up in the illusion of themselves or the world, where they can make their life more, I emotionally want to do things like I've done it in the past, or I'm more shadowy energy can just be you're operating more from your worldly egoic nature. I love the world. Whatever it is that I invest in, that's what I want to keep investing in. And I don't want to look at life from any other perspective. I like living my life the way it is, even if they do feel stuck. I don't want to become independent of something. And, the Queen of Cups can be that we have people in our life that we love. Some people have a friend group or a family group, or the world at large that they make their life about. But they love those things or those people. And even though they might feel stuck and they might not want to become independent, we can all be in jobs, friendships, and relationships, and we can love that job. We could have love for those people. And even if it does keep us stuck, we don't want to become independent of it. Because in the top row, that can cause us some mental conflict. The Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. My truth might be different than their truth. I might feel stuck, but I don't want to become independent of them. Maybe part of becoming independent in the King of Swords, and the masculine figures in tarot can represent taking action in the world. And to me, I mean, we can't tell, but I generally think of this as a masculine figure, which again doesn't have to be a masculine person. It's just when we go take action in the world, it's considered masculine energy because people don't know how we really think and feel, and that is represented by the feminine figures. So there's some people who have mental conflict about speaking their truth, or standing up for themselves, or believing they deserve justice, or if they were to walk away from a certain situation, they don't know, is justice waiting for them? Because Libra, represented by the scales of justice, can talk about these things that we think will get us the justice we deserve, like things will work out kind of the way we want. And some people are still struggling within themselves because they're not sure. Either they'd have to speak their truth, work through their mental conflict about the fact that something doesn't seem just and fair. And again, Libra energy is represented by the scales of justice, but we can be in some relationships that are kind of tipped out of balance, and we could have some mental conflict with it, whether those people that we are in relationship with are our adult children, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our friend, our neighbor, co-workers, or just the fact that we love that job. But there could be other people in the environment that we don't really care for. Some people who seem a little clueless, some people who seem a little stubborn and prideful and unwilling to work cooperatively with people, kind of have some of these illusions about what it means to work together with other people. And some people are still battling within themselves, and that's part of probably why for some people this is occurring, is because maybe some people do have a problem or standing up for themselves and speaking their truth. And so that's why they could be going through something, because it is this process of, when do I kind of stand up for my truth and illuminate the truth of what I think is just and fair, or that I feel, maybe that some of the people in my life that I have love for, that maybe I feel like they try to emotionally manipulate me, or they want me to indulge them, or, we can get in situations in our life, and maybe we did have some mental conflict even getting involved in something, but, we didn't know if we would get the justice that we wanted. So say, just like someone can be looking for jobs and they might have mental conflict about one job that they take, just like getting in a friendship or dating someone. And we kind of might feel a little stuck. And, the bottom row can represent we were in codependent energy and we really kind of hadn't learned to invest in loving ourselves. And so then shadowy energy can be that we are looking outside of ourselves for someone else to love us. Like, instead of us loving ourselves, standing up for ourselves, learning to feel more balanced within ourselves, kind of like next to the King of Swords, we have the High Priestess, which is Pisces and Cancer energy, which is about, learning to love yourself. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, like being a good mother, father, coach voice to yourself. I am going to be loving and encouraging and supportive of me, so that I will quit looking to people outside of me to kind of validate my worth and value or love me, because I don't know how to love myself. I think we've all been in more codependent energy, and some people are really in it, and some people still are, So that's what the Page of Cups can represent. And that's how some people, that's kind of the role people like to play in people's lives. I like to present, whether I'm a male or a female, I like to play the role of being like a loving and encouraging person in people's life. It's just that in shadowy energy, which, because some people present themselves and in a lot of ways, they can be kind of like a loving, nurturing person. And that's why in your Scorpio energy and their Scorpio energy of self, you kind of seem to connect in that area or way of thinking or viewing life or conducting yourself in a way in relationships. It's just that if one person is kind of more shadowy, their intention isn't for you to grow and heal and mature yourself to your full potential. They want, it's like investing in you, and they could maybe not see either that they might like to be in relationships and they might like to kind of be a loving and encouraging and supportive person in people's life, but they have a certain way of living life and viewing life, and they want you to look at life and view life that way too. And then you don't keep growing and healing and maturing yourself where you would ever want to step outside of their comfort zone of how they view life, because this is their comfort zone and this is how they like to live life. And it's a little bit more about how they like to live life. It's more about what they, they have this way. And Scorpio energy is fixed sign energy, where I have this way of living life and viewing life. I don't want to look at life any differently. This is the way I like to live my life. This is how I want to keep moving forward and living my life. I can be a loving and encouraging person with other people, but let's keep doing this. And shadowy energy can be where other people do feel stuck because part of the normal flow of life, we were 15, we were 18, we were 21, we were 25. We go through these phases of life, and then we do learn the lessons we were meant to learn from that phase of life. And then we kind of become independent of that way of living life. We kind of see what things should go, which things we should keep investing in, and we move forward in life differently a little bit. But some of the more shadowy people's like, no, I have a way of living life and viewing life. I don't want to let go of anything. Even if there are things that manipulate me, if it's my fear, my insecurity, my pride, my ego, my lust, my greed, other people in my life, the world is kind of what drives and motivates me, and I kind of make my life maybe more about the world or me or my ego or my image or things I like to indulge in. Nine of Cups can kind of talk about that, whatever it is they like to indulge in. But they don't want, in order to get to the truth, you either have to kind of look at life differently and kind of expand your perception of yourself and how you view others and how you view relationships and what you think is just and fair. But some people do think it's just and fair to be a little more stubborn, bossy, controlling, indulged. If they kind of indulge themselves in some ways, they obviously think it's just and fair. And then they want to find someone else who's willing to move forward with them and kind of indulge them in whatever these kind of more shadowy ways of being. Like, they could have people in their life that they're codependent on, and they don't want to see the truth, even how those people can kind of manipulate them, and maybe how those people, shadowy Scorpio, also can be kind of more superficial and shallow, not really wanting to do deep, meaningful relationships. And that could be their comfort zone. And then they have other people in their life that are maybe more superficial and shallow. And even though they might all feel kind of stuck, for some reason they're unwilling to, it takes work and effort to figure out, why do I do what I do? Why am I not more independent? And partly it might be because in Aquarius energy, they could just have this way of viewing life. The most important thing is that I have a certain status and image. Aquarius is also represented by the star card. It's important for people to view me a certain way. It's kind of like some people just don't love themselves enough to be more independent, to just live their more authentic life. And so then it's always kind of making their life more about how trying to present themselves a certain way, because shadowy Libra can be our like public politician persona. I want people to view me a certain way, and some people could have been brought up in families, you know. You don't live your more authentic life. You don't shine your authentic light. Shining your authentic light would be like high vibe Aquarius. Nope, you got to make your life about conforming to the world, and you should act this way and dress this way and attend these functions, not those functions, because the most important thing is for people to view you a certain way and for you to have a certain status and image in the world. And if you do that, other people will want to be your friend or be in relationship with you. And that can be some people who have not been enlightened to the truth. You know, it can be people who it's like, well, I don't understand why people don't want to keep moving forward with me in a relationship. I could look a certain way, I could act a certain way, I could dress a certain way, I could have a certain status and image, but they haven't been illuminated to the truth yet. The most important component. You're supposed to be more authentically yourself. And instead of being tipped out of balance and letting the world or your ego or your fear or whatever dictate your life, you get more balanced and more independent to live your more authentic truth. The fives can talk about change. The five comes after the four. I saw the truth. I meditated on the truth. Why do I keep investing in things or indulging in things or acting certain ways or getting in certain types of friendships or relationships? Why don't I ever invest in loving myself to speak my truth about what I really think is just and fair instead of maybe investing in things, but I keep not wanting to see the truth that those things keep me stuck? You know, if we were to keep investing in our more immature, self indulgent nature, and then things don't work out the way we want, but some people are like, I don't understand. Well, do you want to see the truth or do you not? No, I don't want to see the truth. I want to keep indulging myself. Maybe they like to keep their emotions buried beneath the surface and they're not, you know, shadowy energy can be where I like to create the illusion I'm loving, and in some ways people can, you know, kind of be loving and encouraging or supportive because people wouldn't keep staying in a relationship with them. But then as time goes by, that can be more the illusion they create. But the truth can be that really they like to operate more from their ego or their, which could just be their defensive nature. The King of Swords in shadow can be someone's self-protective nature. I want to be in relationships. I love to be in relationships. I love to indulge myself in relationships. But isn't it, you know, an Aquarius and Libra air sign energy of the mind, which anyone can have this viewpoint regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are, just in their Aquarius and their Libra energy. They might be people who think, you know, it's kind of like living more from your mind than your heart. Can't I just create this illusion and act like someone who's more inspired by love? Present myself as this just and fair person, a loving person. Can't I just create that illusion and hide my truth that I may be more in my earth sign energy of self? Because the Page of Pentacles can represent that, and the Ace of Pentacles can represent that. That sometimes we get in these mismatched relationships, and one of the people is creating the illusion, because again, anybody can present themselves any way they want to in the world, and some people wear very good false masks, and other people buy into it. Oh, this is someone who kind of seems to be on the same page as me. They seem to be just and balanced, and they don't seem prideful, they don't seem cold, they don't seem bossy and controlling and immature, and you move forward in a relationship with them. And as time goes by, you kind of realize that in their three earth signs within themselves, their Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus energy, they're all in in being aligned with their more worldly view of life, which can be my long-term goal are these worldly things that I want, which can be I want to be in a relationship, or I might want to be married, but I do want a certain status and image in the world. And my truth is being about myself or these things of the world, I'm more tipped in making those things more important in my life than love. And that's the thing in our free will. And I kind of view the sevens as the tipping point. It's either because there's 12 zodiac signs. And so, majority rules. If within ourself, when we debate within ourself about what we think, we have the four suits of the deck, the heart, the mind, the worldly nature, and the creative passion nature. All three of them on their side, just in their earth sign energies alone, are firmly in line with being more about the world. And emotionally, in their Scorpio and their Pisces energy, they're more aligned with the world. And in their Libra energy, so 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, maybe both their Pisces. No, not both their Pisces. But we have the free will. We either work together with our worldly nature and our loving nature to maintain balance within ourselves. And we offer love and encouragement to our more worldly, immature nature that wants us to go take action, that's more stubborn, prideful, fearful, codependent, because we don't also want to change. Or we love and believe in ourselves and we work through the mental conflict of things that didn't work out the way we want, that keep us stuck. And we align with our more loving nature and we heal. I can have people in my life that I love, maybe a Pisces and a Libra, or just people in the world who I thought would be more just and fair, but they might be kind of self-indulgent or stubborn, whatever zodiac sign they are. And I've kind of seen the truth of it. And I've seen that those things kind of manipulate them. And, shadow nature, the big picture, kind of represented by the devil. Those things kind of have a stranglehold on them. Either their immaturity or their ego or other people in their life or their more worldly nature or self-indulgent nature or stubborn, unwilling to budge and be more independent. I've seen the truth of it and I can accept the truth of it, and we've all been, sometimes you're just dealing with people at different maturity levels or different phases of life and how they live life and how they view life, even if they are the same age as you or older, right? And they have their truth and we have our truth. It's like, well, you might find that emotionally fulfilling and you want to keep living your life that way, but I've maybe either worked here or hung out with you, been in a relationship with you, and I kind of realized as time went by, the bottom row of shadowy energy could just be, nothing's ever going to change. Shadowy energy is like stagnant. I don't want to look at life differently. I don't want to look at what should go and what should stay. I just want to keep doing this. I don't want to change. And I've had people are kind of a student of life. Life is about learning these lessons. Just like I didn't stay 15 forever, or the way I viewed life at 21, continued to stay in that same mentality of how I view myself and how I view relationships until I'm like 45. But some people do. And other people are like, I go out in the world. I learn these lessons in life. And in order to be willing to learn lessons in life, for one, you got to get out of your ego and your stubbornness. And some people are like, no, This is the way I like to live my life. I find this emotionally fulfilling, and this is the way I want to live my life. The problem is, well, if you're going to get in a relationship with someone else, well, that person has their dreams, their truth. They have things that how they like to live their life. And it's kind of like the shadowy people are like, you know, maybe they think it should just be more their way. Well, you're supposed to work together cooperatively with people to bring a dream into reality. The other people have their truth, they have their dreams, they have their aspirations. And that's where the other people are like, well, I create the illusion. I'm willing to take that into account, but, you know, shadowy energy can be people are just a little bit more about themselves. Well, this is the way I view it, and I think we should do it more this way. There's some people that could be in relationships with people like that also see some of the things that manipulate some of these people and some relationship attachments that they have that they're kind of not kind of willing, seem to have some mental conflict to standing up for themselves or maintaining balance in the relationship where they kind of indulge maybe those other people maybe aren't very just independent in general in their life because they kind of let the world, and at least in their mind, all these unspoken, unwritten things that are in their mind of how they think a person should live their life. And some other people in their life could have a problem with it. Some people could just see that some people haven't healed. The difference between the Five of Swords again and the One Sword is the Four of Swords. I think there's some things you haven't healed from, or some people in your life, or the truth is, I see what you hide is that you are more motivated by these things of the world, and it's not really love. That isn't your truth. It's more, let's be in a relationship to be in a relationship. Let's make our life about these things. Let's make our life about indulging in these things. Let's make our life about having a certain status or image so people view us a certain way. And it's like, and the other people are like, what about love? I have some conflict with your truth because I don't think your truth is love. And some of the people in their life are listening to their intuition, and they've probably already done this work within themselves that I could stay in this job, friendship, or relationship, but I don't think anything's ever going to change. And whatever is probably going to stay that way forever. They might be happy living their life like that, and I could feel kind of stuck. And if I keep staying in it, I'm going to keep feeling stuck. I can love some people, but, you know, there's a price to be paid. Something is sacrificed to either move forward in a more just, fair, balanced, authentic, emotionally mature, loving way. Well, for one thing, you gotta quit emotionally indulging yourself. And that's a problem some people have. And the Tower talks about the truth. Nope, I don't want, and also detaching. And some people are like, nope. And I don't want to see the truth of the foundation I operate from. I don't want to see the truth of other people I'm in friendship or relationship with. I don't want to be more independent. Let's go see what this card up here is. The Emperor. You know, the Emperor also is about learning lessons. In high vibe, the Emperor, you would have learned all the lessons in all four sets of the kings. And in high vibe energy, emotionally, you'd be an Empress, where you've learned emotionally all those lessons in all four of the queens. And there's just some people right now that are still working through learning lessons about the Queen of Cups, where you love people and it's kind of tipping you out of balance, and other people in your life could be happy that that's where you're at in life, and they can kind of more manipulate your loving nature, because we can have a hard time of seeing the truth and standing up for ourselves, that love is supposed to be just and fair. And we'll all repeat certain patterns until we're willing to see the truth. Some other people in the world, some of you have already been there and done that, and you were tipped out of balance because of this way you viewed life, and you could have let your heart run your life, and then the other parts of our life kind of go in the toilet a little bit because we're kind of tipped out of balance. We might have these problems about believing in ourselves, believing in our dreams, speaking our truth, standing up for ourselves, and there's other people that are in that situation right now. And they're going to keep doing that until they feel so stuck, so tired of to where I can't keep indulging these people at the expense of my own truth and what I think is just and fair. And some people right now that are in that kind of situation, this can kind of represent behind the scenes that they're kind of doing this work within themselves to figure out, well, yes, I can love people, but for how long am I going to keep indulging them? For how long am I going to keep manipulating them? The reason we offer, well, not the reason, but you can offer people love and encouragement, but until they make the free will choice within themselves to do that work within themselves, otherwise is constantly being like codependent on you, like somebody holding out their cup of love saying, fill my cup of love, and then they throw it on the dirt. Fill it my cup of love, and they throw it in the dirt. Just like all the other things you could give to people and they just throw it because they don't want to take kind of responsibility within themselves to take over doing that job within themselves, to learn how to love themselves, to feel more stable and grounded within themselves. Their idea of the dream relationship is to be in a relationship with someone where you do that, whatever that is that they want people to do for them. But they're just unwilling to kind of like learn or see things from other people's perspective. And that's their idea of the dream life. And other people want to be in relationships with people who are willing to take over some of that responsibility within themselves. Oh, so I learn how to temper myself, and I learn how to work through some of my own fears and insecurities, and I learn how to love myself, and I learn how to stand up for myself or maintain balance within myself. And some people, though, don't want to do that. They think, I'm okay with this. This works for me. I don't think that should be my job. I get in relationships with people. That's supposed to be their job. That's my truth. I don't think that's my responsibility. That's not my job. That's other people's jobs. But the truth is, we're all responsible for trying to maintain some balance within ourselves. But some people are like, no, I indulge myself emotionally, and I want other people to indulge me emotionally. And I don't want to look at life from any other perspective. And because of that, some other people saw the truth of it. Okay, well, that's not my truth, and I'm not going to keep indulging you. I'm intuitive that you're either more immature or you're more about whatever it is you like to go indulge in to make yourself feel better, even if those things don't work out the way you think. You refuse to see the truth that isn't getting you where you want. How long are you going to stay in denial of the truth? You could for the rest of your life, and I'm not going to stay stuck with you in denial of the truth. Or if you have friends or family members who manipulate you, but you don't want to see the truth, well, I'm going to let you enjoy their company. But I'm not going to keep staying stuck with you. It's kind of like, what do we let be the third party in our relationship. Some people let their pride, their ego, their fear, their immature nature, their stubborn nature, their self-indulgent nature, or other people in their life. So these people are always going to be a third party. If they say jump, whatever, you're going to do it. You don't live your more authentic life. You let the world tell you in your own mind, because of course the world doesn't just talk to us, but in your head you come to these certain conclusions about how you think the world seems to imply that you should live your life. And then instead of, just letting all those things manipulate you, other people have seen through the illusion. I have probably gone invested in some of those things, and I let the world manipulate me, and I thought I had to act this way and dress this way, and these things are the most important things. And then I saw how I could have pursued all those things, and I thought it would make me happy, and I'd be emotionally fulfilled, or people would want to be my friend, or be in a relationship with me, or stay in a relationship with me. And I saw it was just other people who kind of were indulging in that same way of viewing life, but nothing was changing, and we kind of weren't growing and maturing ourselves. And I decided I don't want to keep repeating this pattern. I'm willing to offer myself love, listen to my intuition, expand my perception of myself and the world around me and what I believe is possible. And even though it caused me mental conflict, I found out I was willing to see the truth that at one time I could have found living life a certain way, fulfilling. But again, just like I don't stay 15 or 18 or 21 or keep doing the same shit every day of my life over and over and over, eventually I see the truth is kind of not getting me where I want to go. It's time to go to the next phase. And, it's just like life. You kind of grow up and mature yourself, and then you're kind of inspired. I think I'm kind of ready to go to the next phase of life. Do I have fears about it? Yes, but I am going to face my fears. And I'm going to work through all my fears and insecurities, listen to my intuition, kind of believe I can. Which, I haven't read this poem. And I also have other stuff written on it, but I had this poem. It's just part of a poem that I had on my fridge I probably had this little poem portion around for over 10 years, if not 15. You can see it's kind of tattered and torn. But the name of the poem is called Equipment, and it's just part of it. And I think the man's name is Edgar something. But it says, courage must come from the soul within. The man must furnish the will to win. So figure it out for yourself, my lad. You are given all that the great have had. With your equipment, they all began. So get hold of yourself and say, I can. And other people face their fears. And, every card in the deck kind of has a high vibe connotation to it and a more shadowy connotation to it. Some people have mental conflict about standing up for themselves, and the Emperor is Aries energy, which is about the self. And when we don't stand up for ourselves and our own inner child nature and our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, then what is kind of controlling our life is our more shadowy self. And some people decided, out of love for myself, I can't keep indulging myself in my more immature behavior. And it just keeps me stuck. It gets me in relationships with other people who are happy that I have mental conflict about really loving myself. And I could have thought I did love myself, but I kind of found myself in these imbalanced relationships, and I don't like it. And so, that can be, did I think it was just and fair to be a loving person? Yeah. and I can still be a loving person, but love is supposed to be just and fair. And that could have been the component I was kind of missing. And now, and then I could have gotten in relationships with people who is kind of like in a shadowy way harnessing Empress energy, which is about love, but it was kind of imbalanced. And then in relationships with people who were a counterpart, but when you're in shadowy energy. So when you're in shadowy energy, there's going to be all these people in the world that you kind of relate with and kind of get along with, but in this more imbalanced relationship style or codependent or something, or the fear or the insecurity or the ego or whatever. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm going to do this work to love and believe in myself and stand up for myself, get balance within myself. And what some people didn't know about you is that you were willing to harness high vibe emperor energy, which is learning these lessons in life, being willing to be a student of life, to do this work to get more balance within yourself, to require more just and fair relationships, and you are ready for a counterpart. And there might be someone who you view as a counterpart, it's just that other people don't know it. But you're investing in that within yourself. Shadowy people, sometimes it can be all about trying to create this illusion to confuse people about the truth of who they are. And they're operating more out of pride and ego. Some of those people think that's what you're doing. You're just creating a good illusion. They might not understand and can't figure out how you're creating such a good illusion in your life, because they could be doing things to create this illusion. They've moved on, they've healed, they've grown, they've matured, they're happy. But you really do seem to be doing the work. You're not, you're being authentic, because high vibe energy is, you're not trying to manipulate or emotionally confuse people. You're not getting in relationships with people for these ulterior purposes of trying to create an illusion. The people that you are in relationship with are people you really want to be in relationship with. And you're not creating an illusion, but they don't know that. They still think you're creating an illusion. But what they don't know is you invested in the truth. And you have grown and healed and matured yourself. And you're moving forward, no longer like whenever the one sword, the one pentacle, the one cup comes out, it's like you've kind of completed a cycle in high vibe. You saw through all these different things that kind of manipulated you within yourself and other people, and you've seen the truth. You completed a cycle. You are ready to have this new beginning, and you have detached from some old way of living life, viewing life, and people in your life. Right now, the Page of Pentacles can be that you're just, I mean, you could have some type of new beginning that opens up a lot of opportunities for you, whether that's jobs, friendships, relationships. But you have a lot of options. And you're kind of listening to your intuition about realizing that you are this very loving person, but you need to equally have someone who is mature enough to be in a deep, meaningful, authentic, just, fair, balanced relationship. And if none of those people or those kind of people are available, you're going to not settle for less. And some other people are settling for less. And it's like, no, I'm not going to settle for the illusion. I believe the divine has a plan for my life, and I'd rather live my life enjoying my friends, my family, than have to stay stuck indulging someone in poor behavior. And if they don't appreciate that I am this just and fair and authentic and loving person, and they want to just indulge in a relationship with someone else, well, then go enjoy your life with someone else. Hope you're happy. So you had some mental conflict, and some people have some mental conflict right now. They wish some of the people in their life would get balanced, would be more just and fair, would go on this journey with you. And there's some people in your life that are probably the people in your life who currently work together with you in that way. You know, encouraging and supportive. I mean, do they have to be living their life exactly like you? No, but they love you and they respect you as your own individual. You go. Am I going to go do that? No. But I love you, and, you know, we support you, and we all treat each other in a just and fair way with, you know, love and respect. Nobody trying to think they're the boss of someone else, or you got to live your life just like me or whatever. But there were some people that, you know, kind of did have to be their way or the highway. That can be shadowy. King of Swords and Emperor, male or female. I'm supposed to be the boss, supposed to be more about me. And if I say, this is the way it should be, you should, because you love me, you should stay stuck with me and indulge me. It's like, well, how about I'm not going to stay stuck with you and indulge you, but hey, go find someone else who wants to stay stuck with you and indulge you. So what's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? The Seven of Wands. Why? Because of the Empress. You know, well, because you offered love to the situation in Empress energy, you are balanced within yourself. And that's what some people don't know, and other people don't know that you've learned some of these lessons because, again, the Emperor and the Empress have already kind of let their heart run their life, and other aspects of their life went in the ditch. They let their mind or their fear or their defensive nature run their life, or living more from their mind than their heart, and it kind of threw their life out of balance. They indulged in things of the world to make things of the world more important, or their passionate nature, their whatever, and now you're balanced. And how'd you do that? It is this energy. The Empress is Libra and Taurus energy. I have offered myself love and compassion and forgiveness to heal from things within me and things of my past. And I've offered it to other people in my life. Everybody else has free will to live their life the way they want, and I can't change the past. But it's like getting out of my ego about it. I accept that everyone else is on their journey of learning lessons. Some people are more just, fair, authentic, loving, and encouraging, and some people are still on the journey of learning lessons about that, and some of them may never learn those lessons. You have to be willing to get out of being more about yourself or your ego to be willing to learn those lessons. And some people, they're good. They're fine living it the way they live it. But because you were willing to offer love to it, you were able to heal. You got out of your mental conflict about the past. The other people aren't dealing with theirs. They just bury it under the surface and keep moving on, thinking they don't have to deal with it. But it impacts how they choose to act in a relationship, because those things still affect them. But they don't think they need to deal with it. And now, too, instead of getting in your ego, you can offer people love. You'd like to work together with them. And some of those people, if they act in pride and ego, you're like, okay, thank you for showing me who you are. Apparently, yeah, no, I don't want to invest more time and energy into people who show me they got some lessons to learn in life. I mean, Can I get along with you? Might I still have to work with you to some degree in my community, in organizations, in workplaces? Yes. Am I going to invest more time and energy? No. Am I going to indulge you in your shadowy ways of being? No. I'm going to keep maintaining balance within myself, standing up for my truth, willing to work together with people cooperatively. I don't have to be harsh. But I just don't have to also engage in it and invest in it any more emotionally than I have to. Keep my distance from the people who show me they're more shadowy or immature or manipulative. Focus more of my time and attention on the people who do seem to be more inspired to be just and fair, act with character and integrity and emotional maturity. You know, and then some of the people, when we're in relationships, we have free will. Either I can take action in truth, love, justice, fairness, treat other people the way I want to be treated, or I can have mental conflict about that idea, and then I can choose to act in these shadowy ways. And what some people don't get people kind of keep trying to change. Some other people are like, I've already been there and done that with enough people in my life. No, if I treat you in a just and fair and authentic way to work with you cooperatively and you make that free will choice, thank you. Next. And you move on. And then some of those people are like, shit, I shouldn't have tried to manipulate them. I shouldn't have acted stubborn. I shouldn't have acted immature. Should have maybe worked with them more cooperatively. And now, it's kind of like I didn't think someone was going to call me on it like right away. It's like, yeah, when I interacted with you about that and was trying to work together with you on something, I saw how you chose to be, and I accept the truth of it. No longer staying in denial of the truth. Thank you for showing me the type of person you are, and I'm moving on. And then some of those people are like, shit, I already got a lot of people here already who've worked with me for years that used to kind of indulge me for a long time. Shit, you just like later. Nice working with you. See you tomorrow. And yeah, not giving some of those people another thought. It's like, yep, I see how you choose to act and behave. And I think because of that, though, too, in the Six of Wands, the Seven of Wands, you keep moving forward, inspired by truth and love. You can offer everybody truth and love. You just get out of your ego about it. They have the free will to act any way they want. And I will just accept the truth of who they, if it's just working together cooperatively, oh, okay, this person can work together with me cooperatively, until they show differently, I will keep. And the page is just to know them in kind of social acquaintance work situation. But I'm going to listen to my intuition more about people who I might view as someone that I might want to have a more involved relationship with if you're single. And you're going to listen to your intuition about who's who. And I think you're going to move forward very victoriously and successfully. And other people in the world will view you that way. And there's going to be some people that it's like, dang, that would be nice to be in a relationship with someone like that. But I might have mental conflict about being more just and fair and getting out of my ego. And then the pages can be kind of being in that more hopeful, believing nature and willing to be a student of life. And some of the people are like, no, somebody else is going to have to be in a relationship with you or get to be in a relationship with you because I'm not there yet. So then they'll have to go find someone else they have some of these lessons to learn in life. And then there's going to be other people that it's like, well, I too could get in a relationship with some people who maybe are more immature and be maybe a little bit more about me, maybe would indulge me, probably, or I could indulge them. And it'd probably be okay, but it wouldn't be inspired by truth and love and creativity and be a more deep, meaningful relationship. And some people are like, I'm willing to exchange the pride, the ego, indulging someone else or having someone indulge me. I want the real deal. And some of those people will get over themselves to be a counterpart to you. What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy that they might not see coming up? The Star, the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Cups, and the Strength card. And the reason is because of the Ace of Pentacles. Well, for one thing, the shadowy people are more in their worldly nature, more invested in being about themselves or these things of the world in their Aquarius energy. And if they have some people in their life that they think kind of are on the same page as them, in the Wheel of Fortune, they think it's a good idea to keep moving forward with those people. Or if some of the people in their life don't seem to, they want people who are more emotionally invested in either being about them or these things of the world, just like they are. They want to be in a relationship with someone who's willing to turn their back on the Three of Cups and the Strength card. People who don't want to work with high vibe energy. They don't want them to work with people and don't want them in their Three of Cups kind of foundation of self to operate from their more tempered, balanced, authentic, loving nature. No, no, no. Turn your back on that. Let's invest in this. This will be great. And then we're going to harness these energies in a shadowy way. We're going to use our emotions manipulatively and operate more from our ego. Shadowy Cancer Leo versus high vibe Cancer Leo. And that's the kind of people, that's what they invest in. They turn their back on their high vibe nature and instead get more emotionally manipulated by their worldly egoic nature. And they want to be in relationships with other people who are like that. And if they have those people in their life, they'll probably keep moving forward with them in a relationship because they think that will make them happy. But there's always going to be some more high vibe people in their life that see that all these people more offer people is these things of the world. And the people in their life who are more motivated and inspired by love, who kind of, bought into the illusion of who these people are, they keep seeing that what they offer them is just more of these things of the world, and they want to be in a deep, meaningful relationship with people who are more authentic and loving. And some of the high vibe people in their life are going to move away from them and become independent from them. And they could be shocked because either they're full of themselves or they look kind of victorious and successful in the world, attractive, charming, social clout, whatever. And they would think, well, you should like to be in a relationship with me for these reasons. And I will let you share in these things that I have. But they're going to keep operating from their more emotionally defensive, self-protective, egoic nature. And the other people's intuition is telling them, this will not turn out the way that you want. This will never be a relationship more inspired by love, because that's not the truth of the foundation they operate from. And some of the high vibe people in their life are willing to detach from them and let them go, even though they could be heartbroken, sad that these people don't want to do love. But they're not willing to stay up in their head about it. They are inspired to be in relationships with people who listen more to their intuitive, creative, loving nature versus people who hide their more authentic, loving nature underneath the surface. And then they'll maybe feel kind of stuck, but they won't want to see the truth. And they'll go repeat this pattern, or with the people in their life, they'll try to confuse them about the truth, about why they didn't move forward with those people, or why those people didn't move forward with them. Will not offer people the truth because they don't want to see the truth. And hide the fact that that is what they offered people. I offered them these things of the world because I have mental conflict about the truth of being more authentic and loving. And they didn't want to just accept these things of the world that I offered them. So then the people in their life who are willing to not want to see the truth of them, don't know the truth about them yet, those people are going to go on a journey with these people. And then at some future point in time when they feel stuck, then those people will have to go through this. Am I willing to stay in this because I love them, or because of the status or the ego or the image? Or am I going to become independent of this person and stand up for my truth and not give up my dreams of being in relationships and living my life being more authentic, being more balanced within myself, being able to speak my truth, live my truth, and work with people who want to work together with me, respecting me that I am my own individual, you are your own individual. And if we're going to work together to bring a dream come into reality, it has to be just and fair and balanced and not just more about you. And some of the shadowy people are like, well, for one, they could think love is an illusion. For others, because they could think everybody is trying to manipulate everybody else to get what they want. Well, that is how they view life, but not everybody else is trying to manipulate other people for their own kind of more selfish, egoic reasons. They really do want to do just and fair and balanced and loving relationships, and they are inspired by love. And some of these people just don't get it, and they could think the loving people live in fantasy land. But I think this world is about learning these lessons in life. And I think the people who make their life more about other things, I think they're going to end up feeling stuck in relationships, because the people who are ultimately going to keep staying in a relationship with them are just using their emotions manipulatively. And then everybody feels stuck and manipulated. Nobody's really being authentic from love. But for some people, that is their comfort zone. So it's going to be an emotionally shallow, superficial relationship. But for some people, that is their comfort zone. It's just like some people, like, I know how to hang out and be in relationships with people who are abusive or alcoholics. That's my comfort zone. Being outside of that and being around people who act different, that's weird. That's different. I don't know how to function in that. And just like some people like being an abusive kind of, because that's their comfort zone. Other people like to be in emotionally shallow relationships. And for some people, they could have the status and the image. But again, if someone's in a relationship with you for all these other reasons, and it's not really love, when they kind of feel stuck in the relationship, well, who else could I get in a relationship with? This person is wanting me to kind of indulge him more. I kind of like to be the one to be more indulged. Or this person might indulge me, but I want more money and status and image. And the more shadowy person will eventually walk away or try to get the other person to walk away because they're more motivated and inspired by themselves or the world, because neither one of them are in it. Love is what you need to build a solid foundation on. And other people think, no, 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 I can build it on these things. This will be enough. But loving people don't want to keep staying in a relationship with them. And the people who are probably like them, they don't want to stay in a relationship with someone like themselves either. So then they go out and try to find someone else who, I think shadowy people like to be in relationships with people who aren't like themselves, hoping they can trap those people in a relationship and keep them stuck in a relationship. And as some of you move forward, there's always going to be shadowy people in the world who want to be the next person to be able to indulge in a relationship. And you've learned to stand up for yourself and to listen to your intuition. Willing to get to know people to kind of figure out what drives and motivates them and what their truth is. But if you want me to make it like where it's more about you or the ego or the image, I'm not, it's kind of like the devil kind of represents the more worldly nature. I'm not getting trapped by the devil again. I've already been trapped by the devil. And I put in a lot of work to free myself. And if people aren't willing and seeming to be authentic and inspired by truth and love, and now I'm connecting in with my superpower of listening to my intuition, where maybe before I didn't listen to my intuition and I was more, pride comes before the fall, thinking I'm so smart and I'm sure I can change people and I'm sure they'll motivated and inspired by love and I'm sure they'll grow up and mature themselves, or everybody's motivated by love, aren't they? And I've seen the truth. Not everybody. We live in a world of duality where we have to have free will choice. There's some people in the world, no, love isn't the driving factor in their life, and some of them don't even want to do love. If they start to feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm starting to go into the danger zone, I gotta leave because I get hurt doing love. And maybe they don't feel like they would be able to pick themselves back up if things didn't work out. And other people go out and have a little more practice in the world so that when they get hurt and fall down, they can pick themselves back up again. And some people decided a long time ago, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm going to make it more about me, more about these things of the world, not do love. I'm sure I'll be happy. But love is what makes it all worthwhile. They just haven't maybe realized it yet, and they may never. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.